really consider the people that are coming to enjoy this dinner with you. There's something that the Spanish call sobremesa. And it's about lingering, literally it translates to lingering around the table and not being in a rush to go anywhere. And so really that's what you want to be focusing on.
Welcome to the Destinations podcast. I'm your host, Danielle Dean, and today I'm so excited to welcome yet again Kadija, who does our fabulous tablescapes for our culture celebrations. Tonight we have a special dinner that will be made by chefs from Madrid. They are with the Cooking Clubhouse, and Kadija has created a beautiful tablescape to go with this culture celebration from Madrid for an authentic paella dinner. Can't wait till you hear all the creativity that came behind this. Kadija? Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
This is beautiful.
Thank you.
So tell us, what was your inspiration this time?
The people,
The people.
the culture,
Yes.
the being togetherness. I loved everything about studying about Spain. It was less about the decor and more about the gathering. And I believe that's what cultures is all about. So I'm excited to talk about this tablescape.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love the choices of the copper, as you can see. I
Yes.
love the copper, right?
Yes.
And of course, red and white is a lot with Spain. We looked at those colors a lot, and our invitations
Yes.
have those colors as well. So tell us, and of course the olives I see here.
Olives.
So tell me about these choices.
Absolutely. Well, for those of you who know anything about Spain, dining is a ritual, and it is something that they do throughout the day, and they take it very seriously. And so I love that because I love to eat, and knowing that you can just sit down multiple times a day and have amazing conversation over food was exciting, okay? But some of the things that I loved most about putting this tablescape together was the simplicity, you know?
Yes.
The things that they love are olives and wine.
Delicious olives.
Yeah, right. So dinners usually start with some olives, and they'll pass it around. And I did a lot of studying about the etiquette for being at the Spanish table,
Okay.
right?
So tell me.
So let's
tell us
talk
what
about
you
some of the
found.
etiquette.
Yes.
So all things are shareable. Hands are never in laps. Always, and elbows never on tables.
Yes.
So hands always need to be seen, you guys. Do not be in Spain or be at a Spanish restaurant and have your hands in your lap or your elbows on the table. It is a no-no,
Yes.
okay? Some other things that I learned about was how they eat directly from the pan. So the paella that you're going to be serving, you would eat that directly from the pan, and they do that with a wooden spoon. And so this was a nod to making sure that people know that you get a wooden spoon and you are going to eat directly from the pan. So that is really about the connection and just the shareability of being together and eating together, and I love that. I believe that eating is one of the most vulnerable and special things you can do with someone. So the
Vulnerable.
idea, yes, it is. I just
tell
feel
me
like
more about this.
because when you're eating, you may not be in the prettiest and most, delicate part. Some people are. I'm not. I'm like, let's dig in.
Our stylist hates mouth noises. Absolutely hates mouth
it.
noises.
Well, you love it in Spain. They're mindful of these things, but being together is just really what I love. So I love that they wanted to bring in all the natural materials, so wood, tablecloths. They're not into a whole bunch of busy things, so white tablecloths are very traditional for a formal Spanish table. You guys know I do not follow rules, so break the rules if you want to. And then also simple white plates, unless you're going to do some sort of floral on them that the Spanish love to do. Which brings me to the flowers. zinnias. I looked for zinnias everywhere.
Did
They
you?
love zinnias. But the next best thing, because you guys know tablescaping is really about making something your own, were red carnations. And so that's where I wanted to bring in there's just a little pop of red for the table. The red represents the passion of the Spanish people, and you have everything from bull riding and red wine, and yeah, so that was just the pop of color, but everything else should be very mellow and easy and not causing a lot of fuss and a lot of attention away from being with the people who you're at the table with.
So for people, because as you know, we have the celebrations kits.
Yes.
And this particular kit is special. We have 2 of them. So normally, of course, you have your invitations, your thank you notes, the recipes, all the things.
Yeah.
But this particular kit also has the paella pan. It has the authentic Spanish spices.
Yes.
It has the Spanish rice, everything imported.
Yes.
And so with that, how would what would you tell them to inspire them to create a table like this? Because people may be looking at this table, and even though it is simple, it's very elegant, they may say, I can't do that.
Yes, you
so
can.
how do you step it through to
Absolutely.
create this?
Step by step. So, one, you guys, if you don't feel like going out and shopping, although I encourage you to, because this is all about embracing someone else's culture, but say you don't have the budget to do that, be fun, okay? And let's be creative. But I'm gonna tell you what I did. So of course you know that I talked about they like to keep it natural, they like to keep it simple. So I'm gonna pull a table apart and we'll go through all the steps.
Okay.
So the white tablecloth, you guys, actually,
want me to get
let's
this?
do this one.
Do this one?
Yeah. So make sure you're pressing your tablecloth. We don't want to see wrinkles, none of that stuff, okay? Then something natural for your charger. This is a 12-inch charger. Something with texture. You guys know that texture and pattern add a lot of dimension and depth and visual interest to a table, especially when you have really neutral colors. You want to bring some sort of contrast. So this is where this really cool little woven charger came from. The other something that's really important, they are serious about napkins. Do you hear me? Napkins are serious. They like something that is light. Linen in particular. This is actually linen. They want something that's pressed. And honestly, they also said they like a napkin that has a little bit of a waxy film to it. So mine doesn't have any wax. This is a true linen. But always using your napkins constantly. I decided to lay the napkins right underneath the charger. So you can have a little something like this. Just give it a little, some interest. So when someone sits down, they can just pull it right underneath.
I always love it when they're
plate.
like this, or even when a table doesn't have a tablecloth,
Yeah.
and then you have the napkins facing you.
Absolutely.
I think that's really special.
Yeah, and it's really fun if you're going to be colorful and nothing's on the table with your napkins. Next, we talked about this the last time when we did Trinidad and Tobago, but just simple white plate, you guys. We want to pay attention to
this
what
one has
is
a little
on the
tint
plate.
to it.
It does, because we want to add some dimension. Everything is neutral. When you're playing with neutral, when you're doing anything monochromatic, you want to layer as much as you can with texture and pattern. So this is just a hint of some brown and taupe and ivories against this white, and it's going to be amazing when you lay the food on
It's
here.
a little shimmery.
Just a little something.
Yeah, I like
A little
it.
something
I
there.
like it. A little
Yeah.
something,
And a
something.
little plate with a little lip. You guys,
Yeah.
you see the lip, and then just a bit of detail that's running through here. Tonight, you guys are gonna be having some gazpacho.
Gazpacho.
So you can never go wrong with a bowl, something the Spanish love, or soups.
Soups, yes.
And beans.
And it is hot in the summer, so gazpacho
It's good.
is, oh yes, very good. Spain, Madrid in specific,
Yeah.
is my second home, so the summers are brutal. They're nice and dry though, not like Valencia or Barcelona, so gazpacho is a great way to cool down in the middle of the day.
I love that. So make sure your bowls are handy. Again, a little bit of something there, a little bit of texture, a little bit of something on the rim to warm it up. It's gonna be beautiful. And you put the gazpacho in. This against that tomato base is gonna be beautiful. Next to that.
That's actually a good tip because you can consider the food that will be on the plate. And what will
Yes.
that look like? So as she
Absolutely.
talked about, the tomato base in this bowl will look very beautiful.
Yes,
So
look
that's
at it.
another way you could bring creativity into your tablescape as you're thinking it through.
Absolutely. So you see how the red stands up against the white. So the next thing that the Spanish do is they set their tables Continental-Style with utensils. That's super formal, meaning forks on the left, knives and spoons on the right. They do a dessert, knife and spoon above. They usually have 2 wine glasses.
Yes.
I only had one, but the 2 wine glasses is one for red, one for white. Nobody's mixing glasses, not in Spain. We're not doing that there. Okay.
When you get a little bit of footage of our dinner tonight, you will see the
Two.
plentiful wine.
Yes, we love that. Drink up, y'all.
Thank you for being a member of our community and for listening to the Destinations podcast. I want to ask you a favor. So many of you love our content, and we want to feel your love as well. So please do us a favor, subscribe. There's so many that listen but don't necessarily subscribe to the channel. Do that, whether it's in audio, wherever you listen to podcasts, or on video on YouTube. Make sure you smash that button, subscribe, and become a member of our community today so you can support the work we do. Thank you.
They also have water glasses traditionally to the left, and then you may also find salt and pepper shakers, individual actually, small ones above the table. So if you were trying to do something very formal, take a look at continental table settings. So
Well, one thing I love that you did is this wooden spoon for
Yeah.
the gazpacho.
yes,
Well, separately, I also love the copperware.
yes.
I don't want to say silverware, copperware.
Yes.
And the length of it, the beauty of it, it's just a little unique, a little different. But then, as you mentioned, texture against the copper
See that?
with the wood. I think that's excellent.
Yes.
And then the wood brings out these chargers as well.
Absolutely. And copper is actually a metal. I looked at the metals that they love. So they love silver and they love copper. They're not into gold, but I love warm metals. So I had to add
Bring
a
out
little
the
bit of
copper.
myself in there. So this is where your copper is coming from.
So that's another great tip. Think of what you like. Bring a little bit of yourself. Spread that through the creativity along with the culture that you're trying to represent. So show them authentically, but show yourself authentically as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to point out, because we did this last time, is all your florals don't have to be real. My 2 here are real, but this one is faux, you guys. This is a faux olive branch. So,
And I
you know,
love that you still put it in
yeah,
water,
put
right?
it in water and distract
With the
from the
ice
faux
cubes.
with the ice cubes.
With the ice cubes.
Yeah, distract from the faux stem. So don't, if you're like, I'm horrible with keeping plants alive, even for a day, don't be afraid to bring in your faux. I'm always a fan of real, but when you can't afford all real, mix it with some faux, and then your faux are reusable. So when you decide to do another party, you'll have something else to use again.
And, it's great. We talked about this last time that the faux, when it's with real, coupled with real, it makes it look more real.
Absolutely.
Right? If you had all faux, you can kind of tell as you get a little closer. But when you have real and faux, it's harder to distinguish.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I just love that you put
the
the
water.
water in here. So tell us about the ice cubes. Why the ice cubes in with the plants?
Well, I'm no
Or the
florist.
flowers.
I'm no florist, but I've seen a lot of florists set up their bouquets, and they always add ice. Just keeping the flowers cool really helps open them up and keep them fresh a lot longer. So
Do you snip the ends?
I do. I always snip the ends. I learned that from my grandmother. You run the water and you snip the ends underneath. And also measuring the height against your vase before you
Yes.
start snipping. So look and see where do you want that particular floral to actually hang from the vase, and then snip. Don't snip and then.
Do you ever? Well, you probably don't do it. Don't you hate it when you cut it just a little too short?
Yes.
And now you got to change the whole bouquet.
But no,
Oh, okay.
fill your water up higher. That's what I do.
Fill your water up higher.
If you cut it like
It'll be buoyant.
yeah, you'll get a little more
Okay,
weight, and then let it balance against some of the other stems you could put in there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever? You know how some people put the tape so they
Absolutely.
can. So do you do that sometimes?
No. No, I'm not a florist, you guys. Never. My sister, she's amazing at bouquets. No, I never do that. No, don't feel pressured. You guys, this
Yeah.
really is about being at home, being comfortable. If
Yeah.
that's your thing and you're like OCD and you're a perfectionist, go ahead, do that. Because the grid is the way to go for sure, but.
Yeah, I don't do that.
But
So that's
these
why
are not.
sometimes
These
I
are
cut
these
my
are
stems
not.
too short.
Yes, and that would help with that for sure. And help you balance out your colors.
So tell us about the candle choice this time and the holders.
Yes, so the holders, again, I just wanted to do something in the neutral. I wanted to follow the pattern of what was on the plate. I just want to pull this out so you guys can see this. So these are things that you don't pay attention to, but interior designers, artists in general, we're looking at patterns and shapes and trying to make the eye continuously feel like it's one moving moment. And so these are the ways that you can do that. You don't notice it, but all of a sudden these two really make sense together just because of the pattern. So
yes. I did not even catch that at all. Yeah. And then why gold for the candle?
Because I love gold.
Okay.
Because I love gold.
You said you like the warm metals.
Yeah, and a little bit of shimmer. You know, you're not going to find a whole bunch of that on their tables, but here is also another way of honoring who you are at your dinner parties and bringing your guests in so that, of course, they're experiencing something authentic to the place that you're taking them, but also, most importantly, authentic piece of you.
Now, what about the height? Because I know in the last one we had quite a few heights for candles. So what about the height this time?
I wanted to keep it very simple, and I want you guys to be mindful of this. Depending on the size of the table, once the food comes out, you're going to actually remove these. So we would take these out and actually put this to the side because that big plate of paella is actually going to be sitting in the middle
still in the pan,
of this table.
The very large pan. So tonight, as we phase in some of the footage from the dinner, you will see, actually we'll keep the flowers, but we'll have a 20 top and we'll have 3 different types of paella. So we'll have mushroom for our vegans or vegetarians, we'll have seafood for those who don't eat meat, and then we'll have a res or a meat paella as well. And then we'll spread the flowers and the candles in between. Yeah, so that will look really nice because the height difference as well. The pan is quite large, but it comes up a little bit, so it'll add some more texture to the table. So that's something you should think about. That texture and that height difference really adds interest. And as you say, well, I already said texture, but it adds more texture to what you already have here. So it makes a really interesting table. And then the colors of the food. So just imagine the shrimp and the rice. And if you have squid ink paella, which is black. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So
what other tips do you have for us? What would you leave with someone? How do they then, they've gotten all the materials, they've brought out their personality, they've really been authentic to the culture, but then I know it's easy for you to put it all together, and you talked about the formal table setting, but how do they then put it all together?
So I'm gonna start with the first tip I said before, and that is really have fun. Like, I feel like when you feel like you're trying to do something right, you take all of the joy out of something. You know, you really, really do. There's this part of you that intuitively knows what you want. And it's okay for those of you who are like, I don't have a creative bone in my body. This is what this is all for. Like, literally, roll the podcast and watch exactly what we did. I'll actually send you some behind the footage of me setting up the table, and we'll have great pictures so you can see how things are layered. But really have fun. Don't feel pressure to get anything right, to be honest with you. Just really consider the people that are coming to enjoy this dinner with you. There's something that the Spanish call sobremesa. And it's about lingering, literally it translates to lingering around the table and not being in a rush to go anywhere. And so really that's what you want to be focusing on after you get all the pieces that you know you love and you think you want to go there. Florals, think about all the decor, maybe for the center. Always consider putting it to the center of the table. And then take some time to set up how you want your actual plate setting to be. But you know that you want a charger, you know that you're going to want a dinner plate, you know that you can't go do anything in Spain without a bowl, and just for some fun, make sure you have your wooden spoon.
All right.
Yeah.
So we brought in now Chef Alex Velar from the Cooking Clubhouse in Madrid. He'll be doing the dinner this evening. So I wanted him to see the beautiful tablescape that Kadija has done. So what do you think compared to a traditional Spanish table?
I mean, first of all, it's beautiful. And if I compare this to what we have back in Spain, Spanish culture and food is all about bringing people together. It's a very warm and loving atmosphere. So this really brings out that aspect of the Spanish cuisine, which makes it very, very similar to what we do back in Madrid. So it's beautiful.
Study, you guys, before you do your tablescapes.
Yes, study the culture. And here's what's great. Alex also told us that at the Cooking Clubhouse, which I've had a few dinners there, similar to what we'll be doing this evening, but at the Cooking Clubhouse, they also have warm metals, gold, in fact, for their cutlery as well. So perfect job. Thank you. Any closing remarks for our guests on what they should consider as they make their own tables at home?
What should you consider? Drink a lot of wine. Get some good wine. Make sure you're pairing this with some good wine, you
And
guys.
if you're in Colorado, have some water too. Because
have some water.
you
It's
don't wanna be
dry.
dehydrated.
It's so dry out here, you guys.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn.
Beautiful once again. I look forward to seeing it with all the guests around it tonight.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Thanks for being with us.